Well, gun violence on the streets of Shreveport claimed the life of a man who was just released from prison. He was freed through the efforts of the Innocent Project of New Orleans. I spoke with a nonprofit today for their reaction. They say his case highlights the injustice black men face in the criminal justice system.
Yeah, what's up, y'all? It's your boy King, Lucky Money Man, and I'm back with another video, man. Real reaction videos. And today, the video that we're going to be reacting on is by the way of a Louisiana man named Fate Wilson. He was 53 years old. Fate Wilson made news. He went to jail in 2008, which spent 12 years in life. Actually, he was sentenced to life. But he spent 12 years in prison after going broke. He was homeless. And in 2008, he was arrested for selling, y'all get this, a $20 dime bag to a plainclothes officer, which they violated him and sent him to prison. You know how they multi-bill you, you know what I'm saying? He was 3-strike law, put it like that. And he was sentenced to life for they added that minor crime, and he was sentenced to life in prison. But on December 15th, with a lot of pressure from the media, a lot of people was making news about this, because this made a lot of, because he has family, so they was pushing, like, why is this man sentenced? You know what I mean? Why was he given a life sentence for something so small? All right, so on September 28, Winslow was approached by a plainclothes officer who said they were seeking marijuana and sex workers. He allegedly borrowed a friend's bicycle and returned a short time later with a small amount of marijuana. The officer gave him a small amount of food in exchange. So if you get it, so it was a sting set up, and he was just so had to be caught up in this sting. All right. He was later arrested and was sentenced to life in the Louisiana court. He was sent to Angola, y'all. 2017, Rolling Stone magazine highlighted Winslow's case, which was shining light on individuals who were serving unusually hard sentences for small crimes, basically. So think about it. So for that to make Rolling Stone magazine, yeah, that's big. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause they don't just put anything in their publications. But at the end of the day, it shouldn't even take that. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't even have to take all that, man. At the end of the day, whoever sentenced that guy for that was completely out of order for that. So anyway, he ended up doing 12 years off there, and he was released. But guess what, y'all? A very, very short time after his release, the man had got out, got his driver license. You know what I'm saying? He was getting his life back. He got his lady. He had his woman with him, as you can see right here in the picture. But just shortly after that, let's get into the clip.
He was gone 12 years. And when I finally get my daddy back, y'all took him from me again, and he can't come back this time.
He was released from a life sentence only to be then gunned down months later. We profiled Fate Winslow earlier this year in a KATC investigation of the state's habitual offender law. In 2008, Winslow was arrested for possession of marijuana. Its worth was about $20, but since it was his fourth offense, it cost him a life sentence. But Winslow was released in December as part of reforms to the habitual offender law. 4 months later, he was shot to death. Tonight, Amon Boyd talks with Winslow's daughter about the final months of her father's life. It's a story you'll only see on 3.
I never knew what life in jail meant at the time. I thought they just meant, he was going to be gone for a little while, and then next day, I was going to get to see him. It's really hard because I didn't get that time that I felt like I needed. with my dad.
Faith Winslow was 10 years old when her father was sentenced to life in prison. Now 22, living in Monroe, she drove to Shreveport in December to see her father as a free man.
Shreveport is so dangerous. He barely wanted me to come down there. Like, I'd call and be like, Dad, I'm gonna come see you. He'd be like, no, some stuff happened today. You don't need to be down here.
4 months later came heartache. Faith Winslow was shot and killed.
I felt like my chest was about to cave in. Because I'm like, my daddy really gone. Like, he really gone. I can't really say I know what it is or who did it or how it happened or like, because I'm just like, who would do this and why? And that's all I really want to know.
Although Faith was only able to visit with her father a few times, they made memories she will always cherish.
Being the only girl, you're going to get what you want anyway. But I enjoyed being daddy's little girl at the time I had. Even though my daddy wasn't around, he was still proud of the grown woman that I became. And I'm glad he was letting, a lot of people around the world know that.
So far, no arrests in Faith Winslow's death. Iman Boyd, KUTC TV3.
According to court documents, in 2008, Faith Winslow was homeless when he was approached by an undercover police officer in Shreveport, asking him to find a sex worker or marijuana. Faith borrowed someone's bicycle and went to a known drug dealer's house, where he obtained 2 bags of marijuana, valued at $20.
Faith was then arrested. The white drug dealer who had the marked bills was not arrested, but Faith, who was a Black man who had, again, recently become homeless, was arrested.
Kat Forrester with the Innocence Project of New Orleans says Louisiana's habitual offender law led to a life conviction. He had 4 previous offenses, however, none were violent.
And yet he was sentenced to life in prison over $20 worth of marijuana. He would watch sort of what was happening with the legalization of marijuana in the news around the country and sort of think why am I in here for this?
Faith Winslow spent 12 years in Angola prison until the Innocence Project of New Orleans got involved. They worked with the DA, and Winslow was resentenced to time served. He walked free in December of 2020 and came home to Shreveport.
Faith had a new puppy. Again, he was reconnecting with his family. He had purchased a house, he'd gotten his driver's license. By all accounts, he was on his way to rebuilding a meaningful and happy life.
On May 4th, Shreveport police responded to a shooting on Linwood Avenue where a couple had been killed. Faith Winslow had been fatally shot along with his female companion, Tammy Cherie.
We were shocked and deeply saddened that somebody who had, just come home and just begun to rebuild his life had it taken from him so quickly and so violently.
Forrester says before his death, he was always happy to share his story in hopes to help incarcerated people and their families. He would have turned 54 on May 18th.
He was so happy for those 4.5 months that he was free. I think they were absolutely precious to him and to his family. And it is just simply tragic that, his potential was cut so short so soon after finally, gaining some modicum of justice.
And Shreveport police say the investigation is ongoing and no arrests have been made.
So yeah, as you can see, R.I.P. to Faith Winslow. As you can see, he was ultimately sentenced to a life sentence in prison, and he was released from such a petty crime. But ultimately, he was sentenced to another life sentence by the hands of another individual, in which he can't get himself out of that. R.I.P. to Faith Winslow. It's your boy King Lucky Money Man. Real reaction videos. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Condolences to, once again, Faith Winslow. Much respect to his family. And this video was done out of respect. You know what I mean? So yeah, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. Make sure you guys hit that post notification bell. Make sure you hit the thumbs up if you like this video. You know what I mean? Until next time, it's your boy King Lucky Money Man. Yeah!